Gavin Banks. Welcome aboard the Storytellers market.
Thank you, Jamie.
Let's talk about your baby, which has got to do with babies.
It does.
Tell me about this. A trilogy of babies.
Right. Yeah. Look, this is one of those stories about a film that I couldn't really walk away from. Years ago, I did a corporate film, and it was this a midwife had a birthing seat, a stool, and she was flogging it, and it was great, and it did all these great things. And it was used. It's actually used at John Hunter. I reckon probably 15,000 babies have been born on this thing. Anyway, so she was making this film about this stool, and what it turned out was that the film became, instead of a 15-minute instructional video, became a 1 hour long imparting of her philosophy of childbirth. And I sort of started out thinking, well, this will be really interesting. And the more and more that we talked, the more I realised how significant the way this happened was for women and for families and for babies. And so what was just fascinating because of its nature became something that I guess changed the way that I looked at things, and became quite a serious issue, because what I realised was that there was a massive difference between what evidence said should happen and what was actually happening in practice.
Yes, right.
And so at the end of that film,
this practice, was childbirthing practice.
The practice of delivering, of delivery of babies, and more, I guess, more importantly, the support of women to encourage women that they've got it within themselves to do this, and couples for that matter, to be able to make the right decisions for themselves that would put them in a great position to parent from there on. And so this started what has been a 10-year journey for me.
Fantastic. So, this is interesting. You was essentially doing a video that was a kind of an instructional video, but you found a nugget of a story and kept developing it out. So did you partner with people when you were doing that?
Yeah, look, I first hooked up with a woman named Carol Chapman, and she was a local activist. And she was, along with a number of others, responsible for getting up the amazing birth service that we have in Newcastle, the Belmont Birthing Service. So 2009 through to 2012, when we finished the film. Now, I had done some filming prior to that, and we used some of that material. And what we found was that to take all of the research and all of the interviews, if we just made the film, the 90-minute film, there was so much gold that was lost.
Yes.
And we were trying to work out, well, what could we do with that? And so what we did was we decided to create 2 other DVDs.
Yes.
And so what we did here was Meet the Experts was, this is basically 4 hours of just interviews,
yes.
So extended interviews.
Yes. Yep.
And we were really clever there, kind of pushed the DVD format to its ultimate, where we created this menu system where you could just look up a topic, click on that, just watch that single answer,
that little piece,
and then come back and search. So it's a really good teaching tool.
Very user friendly.
And then the birth stories was the elongated stories of the women from the film, the kind of like the full blown versions rather than the cut down versions from the film, and also women that didn't make the cut. So this draws on the same interview material, the same overlay, probably extended overlay, but more of an educational film. So this was a series of films. So we've got 9 different women, short films about 9 different women. Again, far more educational, and so the production values aren't as high. But the point is that there was all this sort of amazing material, and we've got the sort of the main feature, but then all these support materials. We interviewed this amazing woman named Sheila Kitzinger in England, and this lady's 83. She's like a super grandmother, and she's written 21 books on childbirth, published in 22 languages. She's got an award from the Queen, from her, blah 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 blah. Remarkable woman, and she's an anthropologist of birth. So she looks at how women birth and how society handles birth and how it impacts women and families. And what she was saying was, she said, and in her writings, and of course we interviewed her because of this, and actually the main driver for the film for me was that birth is a lot like making love, in that it's an incredibly personal experience, and who you choose to do it with and how it feels when you're doing it either makes it completely right or completely wrong with lasting consequences. And Sheila, so this grandmother,
great grandmother,
is talking about birth like it's sex.
Yes.
And she's saying, okay, well look, you know, sex can be the most making love is the most amazing thing, but the same physical act can also be considered rape if it's done without consent.